Get your stretch on, Uncle Neely. About to go on the morning run. Hey, we're back with your latest and greatest in sports and culture. It's the main man. It's the badass Uncle Neely. And it's your first cousin, Big Dog Chico. We up in this thing live and in effect. Uncle Neely coming in from the press box at Folsom Field in Boulder, where it's colder. How you looking? Is that the press box? Or is that the other side?
It's the other side. This is the
Oh,
suites.
okay.
We done
Them
went
the
from the
suites.
streets to the suites.
Okay, my bad. I was in the press box, so I wasn't in the suites. I wasn't all up at it like that. But what's happening? How you doing? What's the view like from that vantage point?
I'll move in a second, let y'all see it. Overlooking Folsom Field. Beautiful day here. Barely a cloud in the sky. Really no clouds in the sky. And just finished up practice. Finished up a great scrimmage on this beautiful Friday morning. Looking forward to having some pop-up guests join us. Normally I'm in Coach Prime's recruiting lounge. I thought there might be some meeting. Let me.
Bluetooth
Okay, there we
disconnected.
go. I got to disconnect that. Stop being so ghetto. Go ahead, Unc. I'm bad. That's the
Urban.
$20
It's
sound man right there.
urban, what they call it. Urban, what they call it.
Urban.
Yeah. So it's a good Friday, man. It's a beautiful Friday in Boulder, Colorado. What's going on in Hawaii, the Big Island? Are you on?
Yeah.
What island you on, man?
I'm on Oahu. That's not the big island. The big island is literally the biggest island called Hilo, if I'm not mistaken. But the clouds are out here, man. The clouds are out here now. I got the window open, and usually I don't have it open in the morning because the sun will come from behind the mountains so tough. It'll be shining bright, but shoot, it's gone with Rihanna now because the clouds are here. No shining bright like a diamond.
I hear you, dog. I hear
Yeah,
you.
I can make that make sense. But I think Dukes is somewhere where the sun is shining bright like a damn diamond because I think he might be on the beach somewhere. Let's bring in cousin Dukes to the stage. Oh, now Dukes,
Yo,
man, are you flexing on us right now?
bro, I'm trying not to.
No, if you try not to, you're doing a bad job of trying not to.
He
Hey
ain't
man,
lying.
hey man, I told you this week, man, my flight ain't till 7. They put me out the room at 12:30. They were like, you can go out there.
What they say? You can go out there, but you
They
got to
said,
get the
we'll
hell out
take
the
your
room.
bags. Yeah, you gotta get
Yeah.
hey, you gotta go. Well, you ain't, hey, you ain't gotta go home. But you gotta get the hell up out of here. Hey man, they started calling the room. I got a late checkout to 12:30. They started calling the room. I ain't heard the phone ring since I've been here.
Uh,
I thought it was a fire alarm. Me and Cam ducking our heads. We're like, what's going on? They're like, sir, Mr. Dukes, you ready? I was like, all right, man. Shoot. I
yeah.
tried.
We call you at 11:30 to get you up out of this thing. We got to bring somebody in to clean.
Yeah, they was outside the door too. They weren't playing.
But let everybody know where you checking
Hey,
in
what's that
from.
going? Wait, what's that just walk behind you?
I
You
don't know.
see it? Ooh,
Over that left shoulder, yeah. There you go, right there, leave right there.
look at Uncle
Oh,
Neely.
the other shoulder. Yeah.
This is the morning run, the best damn show you can find on the internet right now with
Yeah.
Philip Dukes, Uncle Neely, and Big Dog Chico Cleasy on the screen. Dukes out of College Park, Georgia, is reporting live right now from the beach somewhere in South Florida.
Yes, sir.
Man,
Yeah,
enjoy yourself. Don't get
move
too
that camera
tan.
just a little bit. Yeah.
Uncle Neely trying to see what's in the background, what's on the
Well,
menu back
I seen it. And just like when the Lord saw what he had made, what did he say? It's good.
Boy,
there. Turn around,
boy,
ladies,
you
for
was
me,
perfect.
please. Turn around, ladies, for me, please. All right, let's get into some news, man. So, what we're here to talk about on this nice, beautiful Aloha Friday. Put Aloha Friday in the chat right now. If y'all having a great Friday, every day that ends with a Y is a great day for us. Shout out to Coach Prime. Let's get into something right quick, and we'll start off with gonna go back to Duke's homeboy again. God damn, dog. Come on, man. John Morant is back in the news. He tripled down on it. $75,000 fine after the gun gestures. So he switched it up as Duke's told us from Gilbert Arenas podcast, or Unc said that Gilbert challenged him to do a grenade launch, and that's what he's been doing. And he said he's not changing it basically until somebody makes him change it. What do y'all think once again about Jawwick Morant?
I want to say this because you put my name in it. I ain't bit most said Gilbert Arenas challenged that man to do that. I said on Gilbert Arenas podcast, he said, "Hey man, stop doing the gun. I don't know, do something different, like maybe try a grenade." He didn't challenge that man. He didn't get up. Gilbert Arenas and say, "Hey, I bet you won't do a grenade." Like that's two different things. What he was trying to do was offer this man a comedic suggestion to an alternative, not knowing he was going to go out there and do it. You can fix the damn face people all you want. Like those are two different things. I know words, I know sentence structure. Those are two different sentences.
Okay. All right. Well, rewind then for Uncle Neely's clarification. Gilbert Arenas mentioned it on his show,
There you go.
which Jawwick Morant went and took it basically like a challenge and went and did it. A little bit better.
No, but go ahead.
But what do you think about him going out here doing this again? That's the factual thing. He did it again.
He gonna grenade himself out the league. He acting like he don't want to play ball. It really is that simple. I don't know how many times people got to tell you, like, it's not literally gun gestures. It's anything violent gestures. It's anything the NBA doesn't want to be associated with. You work for somebody. You work for the Memphis Grizzlies, which is part of the NBA, the National Basketball Association. You have to abide by their rules just like everybody else has to do in their workplace.
Let's see what Dukes thinks about this subject then.
Hey, man, if you like it, I love it. Go ahead, man. Live your life. Do what you want to do. You ever see somebody that you really have to tell, like, all right, man, you know what? Like I said the other day, you don't believe fat meat greed. Go ahead, keep going. Who cares? I mean, he obviously don't. The people around him don't. I mean, that's an easy thing not to do. When you look at how hard it is to make it to the NBA and how hard it is to be a premier player in that league, for him to tarnish everything that he's done athletically and all of his achievements because he wants to take a stand on this. Man, it's a million hills to take a stand on, and this is the one he wants to take a stand on. So you got to tell him, if you like it, I love it.
Yeah. I don't even know what to really think. Like, I was watching Ant-Man play and his highlights. Didn't they play against each other? I think they played
Yeah.
against each other. And I was watching Ant-Man and his demeanor, his gestures and stuff when he scores a basket. It just seemed like he's out there to play basketball in the win and to be, but that's what he's focused on. It's almost like Ja is more focused on the antics and doing things afterwards and get his name in the news for other things other than winning and scoring points. That's what I see the difference in these young guys, and that's why I think Anthony Edwards is looking to be the face of the league over a guy like Ja Morant, who was poised to be that, who was in position to be that until those gun things happened a year or two ago.
Chico, what did I tell you last night on Uncle Chico? I told you this.
You said fat meat greases, sun is yellow and the sky's blue. That's obvious, Chico. That's what you told me.
I did say that, but relative to this situation,
Oh, okay.
most people do things that make those people around them happy.
Mm.
Most people
Yep.
do things that make those around them happy, which is why you have to be careful who you surround yourself with, because you'll find yourself doing idiotic stuff to make the people around you happy. And if those people around you don't have sense enough to say, hey, man, our success is your success. If you go down, we go down, versus laughing at it and encouraging it, you find yourself in situations like this.
Mm-hmm.
You're a reflection of your four closest friends.
You ain't lying about that. That's true. I just don't understand why no one around him is trying to, stop him from doing silly stuff like this. Because to me, it's just silly. At the end of the day, you did it one time, did it twice. Once you get fined, what are you trying to prove now? What are you trying to prove? 75,000? What? Can't find me no $75,000, and I go do something again, trying to make a point.
Man, just think of what you could be doing with that 75,000.
I know what I could be doing with that 75,000. But yeah, Dukes, what would you do with that 75,000?
You go back in that room.
Put it in Cam College Fund.
That's right. That's a father figure answer right there. I like that, big dog. I like that. That's Uncle Duke's right there. All right. Anything else on Ja Morant? Get better, man. That's what I'll say. What you say, Uncle?
Fat meat greasy.
He ain't lying. All right. Let's go to some more meat on this bone. Let's go to the NFL. And the Cleveland Browns, who just signed Joe Flacco, the 40-year-old Joe Flacco, to a 1-year deal to their quarterback room. What does this mean for their, you know, draft goals and things of that nature moving forward? Does this mean anything for the Cleveland Browns uh, moving forward? Is it going to help them? Like, what is Joe Flacco bringing at 40 years old?
He's bringing a veteran presence to the organization. He's bringing a 1 year stability. He's bringing 1 year of we got somebody that worst case scenario, can throw the ball, but hopefully we still are bringing in somebody younger, and he's going to be that mentor too. But this you see it happen with New York and Winston and Russell. Like these are 1 year deal for a reason. It's not. You're not signing these guys to help you win 3 or 4 years from now. You're signing these guys to help you out with something in the next 12 months.
What do you say, Dukes?
Man, I think it's a little bit of posturing and smoke screening. So now you look at the Giants. What did they do? They signed two guys who don't cost you a whole lot of money, and so they're able to double. And so are the Browns. So now they're able to say, hey, you know what? We're not tied to taking the quarterback either. So there's going to be a lot of posturing between that pick, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, and Shaduer Sanders. I think all of this is going to be kind of roped together to find out who's going to be able to trade down out of that pick and who's going to be able to throw somebody else off of their trail that they really do like Shadur Sanders. So I think a lot of this has to do posturing with Shadur, Abdul Carter, and draft capital. So you cannot let anybody know that you have to draft the quarterback, especially when the team behind you went ahead and said we don't have to draft one either. So now the Browns just up the ante. They already got Kenny Pickett, if I'm not mistaken. They got Joe Flacco now, who did a really good job in that offense after Deshaun Watson was hurt the year before last. So when you look at Flacco being there, you got now. Let's say you do bring in a quarterback. Who better to teach you than someone who had tremendous success, who's won a Super Bowl in a short period of time than Joe Flacco? So I absolutely think this has a lot to do with the quarterback position and how they handle that room.
Yes. 2024 NFL season, Joe Flacco played 8 games for the Indianapolis Colts, 12 touchdowns, 7 interception with a QB rating of 90.5 for Flacco. Shout out to Money Man who said these dudes overrated like Joe Flacco. Is he overrated, Dukes? Just in the general terms, is Joe Flacco overrated?
Nah, he won. He got two Super Bowls. In his prime, had one of the strongest arms in the league. If he ain't got two, he got at least one.
Yeah, he got that one with the Ravens from what I know.
Yeah, so yeah, Joe Flacco's definitely not overrated, in my opinion. And when he was one of those Super Bowls, and when the Ravens did have that good run, basically he was the catalyst behind it. When some of those plays that he was making, shout out to that whole team, like they showed up when it mattered the most. And he had one of the strongest arms in the league. So now you never hear Joe Flacco in top five conversations.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's overrated.
I think they're going to give that defense a lot of credit that year they won that Super Bowl. Even though Joe Flacco was 22 or 33, 287 yards and 3 touchdowns, all in the first half, you know, he helped, propel that team to that Super Bowl. So I think he'll be great in Cleveland, even though he's 40 years old. Whether they bring in a rookie or not, I think if they pass on a quarterback on that second pick, get a guy like Travis Hunter, and then get a quarterback in that second round, I think that'll be good for them. And then that quarterback can learn from a Joe Flacco, who will be like a coach on the damn field also at 40 years old.
Oh,
So
you mean what I said?
if I'm gonna mail this to you, Unc, for being right. This is one of those little cuties, little oranges that you can eat. I'm gonna mail this to you for
I
being right.
love
All
them,
right?
man. Them little cute. Yeah, they come from out there. Y'all import them. I love them little things, man.
That was a great question. I don't know. I'm sure we probably import them, but yeah, that's my breakfast for this morning. But I'll make sure I send you one for being right on that one right there, Unc. All
You
right.
better send me more than one. That little damn thing. I'm gonna be like you leaving that fish to go and get some sushi.
He gonna go get a whole another one. All right. Last news I had of the day, a topic I had of the day that we could talk about right here. It's Shiggity Shaduer Sanders, number 2, SS2. Taking his visit to the Steelers, checking out Coach Mike Tomlin and them. He said, I understand why they win so much after visiting with them with the interview with Ian Rappaport that Shedeur did from the airport in Pittsburgh. What do y'all think about that? Shaduer Sanders' comments on Mike Tomlin and Pittsburgh. He even said Mike Tomlin kind of reminds him of his father as far as their mannerism and stuff like that. What do y'all think about Shaduer Sanders' possibility of being a Pittsburgh Steeler and his comments on his visit up in Pittsburgh?
Well, I haven't seen the interview yet, but what I was going to say to your first question, and you unloaded about 6 of them, but I deal with the
Yeah.
first one. Shadur Sanders knows culture. Like, he knows winning culture. He knows what winning looks like. He knows what it feels like. You can walk into a building, or organization, or restaurant, and you can tell when you're around something that's losing. You can tell just the vibe in there, how people move. And for him to spend some time with the Steelers and say, I understand why they win so much, is a testament that he himself is a winner. He knows what it's supposed to look like. He won in high school. He won at Jackson State. He won in Colorado. The guy is a winner, and winners know what winners look like. And as we talked about on this broadcast several times, and can continue to talk about it to the night of the draft, is that Pittsburgh would be a great fit for him. You look at the head coach in Mike Tomlin, the stability there. Never had a losing season. You look at just the philosophy of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're always going to have a sound defense. That helps a quarterback. They're always going to invest in their running game. That helps a quarterback. So you're putting a quarterback in a situation where, maybe they got to produce 14 points a game, 14 points in a field goal. You can go undefeated as Pittsburgh Steelers because the defense historically is so strong and the running game is so strong. So I like to hear that positive comment from his visit, even the correlation between Coach Tomlin and his father, Coach Prime. But we've always said on this broadcast that Shadur Sanders and the Steelers will be a great fit just because they have the same philosophies and ideologies, and that's winning.
I like it.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I think that would be a great fit for him. Um, and I just look at the wide receivers that he has. When you talk about somebody who gave his wide receivers a chance every time, where the 50-50 ball seemed more like 70-30s, his ball placement that we even saw at Pro Day or the showcase, that's the perfect spot when you got 2 6'4" receivers that can move the way they can. Talk about George Pickens and DK Metcalf, and somebody who has the confidence to go and tell them folks, "Hey, bro, you wrong," and somebody whose confidence isn't going to be broken if George Pickens says, "Hey, man, get me the ball." Well, he used to. He had Travis Hunter telling him, "Get me the ball." So his confidence ain't gonna be shaken because somebody said something to him, or like and the average rookie quarterback, if you get a guy like DK Metcalf saying, "Hey man, get the ball up," they'll be like, "Oh, all right," they're nervous. Shador ain't gonna be nervous. Like he's not. Like I saw him last week, man. When you got GMs and owners coming to talk to him, Shador's like, "Hey, how you doing?" He wasn't disrespectful, but man, the man daddy is Deion Sanders, bro. Like it ain't. He been on TV since he was what 6, 7. Like it's not gonna be a moment that's too big for him, and including that wide receiver room. So I think he would be a perfect candidate if Pittsburgh could come up with the capital to move up and get him.
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to take. They're going to have to move up to get him. I don't think he's going to fall all the way to 21 for the Steelers, especially with the Saints right there at 9 and a couple of other teams who are eyeing a quarterback also. But
Let
I
me let
like
me
what Duke said as far as Shador being able to handle all the personalities that are already there in Pittsburgh. Shador has the mindset, the bravado to be able to handle that stuff, with DK and the other wide receivers there. So I like that move also.
let me say this, guys, and to the audience out there listening around the world live on replay. We are all the sum of our experiences. Our experiences, the totality of them, make us who we are. Look at what this young brother has experienced in his life. Look at the people that he has met, the places that he has been, the environments, whether he was just a fly on the wall as a 6-year-old or, all the way up in high school as a 16-year-old. always been around cameras, always been around celebrities, always been around people who are bigger than life, people who are wanted for autographs and pictures and that kind of thing. And what does he do in those environments? Excel, all while being himself. So you can't rattle him, with lights, cameras, and actions. You can't rattle him with, oh man, that's such and so over there. I've never met a person like that before. None of that is going to bother him or knock him off his square, his center. The guy is focused and focused on winning, which is why one of the reasons, I'd often point out why New York City, whether it was the Jets or the Giants, would be a great place for him because that's him. Like he is that guy. He's not going to meet somebody and be starstruck by him because he is a star and has grown up in a family of stars. So Shaduer Sanders brings everything to the table you would need and want a successful QB. But let me tell you what you're not going to hear after this visit, Dukes and Chico. You're not going to hear people from Pittsburgh saying he was cocky or he was too confident. We didn't like his swag because that building and that culture is full of people who are confident and walk around with swag. And so, perfect fit. And here's what you also got to keep in mind, Chico. Pittsburgh know what kind of talent Shadur Sanders is, and Pittsburgh knows where they're currently picking from. We don't have to tell Pittsburgh they're gonna have to trade up to get him. If they brought him in for a visit, they brought him in because they're willing to hear him out, see that it is what they believe it is, and start making the moves to move up. They know he ain't gonna be around where they're currently picking from, and they wouldn't waste their time with a visit if they weren't willing to do the things to move up.
He ain't lying.
Factual and actual. All right, we'll see what happens at the end of the day. Of course, we've already stated where we would like for him to go. And Pittsburgh and the Saints have been like the number 1 and 2 picks. As if you want to poll us guys right here. Shout out to Andre Walker, who came into the chat saying, Neely, your frat brother, Mike Tomlin. Yeah, he is your frat brother. Shout out to him. Mike Tomlin is one of those such highly confident dudes in that building. Most definitely.
Agree.
All right. Agreed too. Shiggity should do a sandwich. Y'all stay tuned for more as we're going
Hey,
to
let me tell
move
you
on
this:
here.
you can take Dukes to school, and you can put him in Miami, but you can't get that Atlanta out of him. Do you see how that head is on the swivel? You not finna creep up. Oh, Dukes is still on him, but get him for nothing. That joker.
I think they head on a swivel for a whole nother reason, for the reason why you was telling him to turn the camera over his shoulder. Might
Ain't
be
nothing wrong. Ain't nothing wrong with that swivel either.
he ain't lying.
Nah,
I'm
man, I
talking
got
about
my.
hey.
Nah, man, I moved my back, man. I like to see what's going on in front. You feel me? Like, hey, and then Cam's supposed to be back about 5 minutes ago, so I'm looking for him. I think
How old you
Cam,
say Cam is now?
Cam at that age, he 11,
Okay.
man. So he'll be 12 in October. He had
Okay.
what they call it, the age of enlightenment.
Yeah,
I see Cam head on the swivel while we've been out here this week. So
yeah.
why
Cam about to be at that age where you're gonna have to start doing his own laundry.
for sure, for sure. Cam a little
Look at
developed
Chico.
for
Know
his.
what I mean? Chico know what I mean. Nobody.
I know exactly what you mean. And then too, Cam started puberty a little early, so I had to have this check with him every
Oh
couple
yeah.
of weeks. Like, hey man, ain't nothing
Fell
happened when
under
you
your
was asleep,
arm.
did it? Yeah, I already know. So shout out to Cam. He need to bring his little tail on though.
I don't want Shadur to go to sleep. Shout out to Chad Griffin in the chat said, "Oh, now Chico and Unc from South Side of Atlanta. That's your area, right, Duke? I don't want Shadur to go to Cleveland or the Saints. Both of them organizations not run right, but I
Y'all
do
from,
want
yeah,
him
y'all
either in
from the South
Miami or
Side?
Pittsburgh. Out to the South Side, man. He said he want him in Miami or Pittsburgh. Miami has Tua. You think Miami gonna be looking for a quarterback with Tua down there?
No.
Nah, especially not a high caliber one, first round pick like Shadur. So
Oh,
we'll
I don't know, dog. Because at the end of the day, you just don't know what you're gonna get with Tua. To be honest, I don't think nothing off the board, off the table right now. And then too, you got to think about what their future looks like. Tyreek Hill came out earlier in the year saying he didn't want to be there. Now he's in and out of the news. They don't know if Mike McDaniel is the guy. I mean, they could blow that thing up in a year or two because when you think about how what the trajectory was a couple of years ago versus where it is now, I mean, I don't know if the Dolphins feel the same way that they felt when they first had Tua, Jalen Waddle, and Tyreek Hill. So it could be a little different. I'm not putting nothing past no NFL team from here on out. After I saw what the Falcons did with Michael Penix last year, after they signed Kirk Cousins for $100 million,
Yeah.
ain't nothing off the table.
What about the?
I bet the money that Chico owe you that they ain't drafting Shaduer Sanders.
What about Joe Milton going to the Cowboys? Is that how big of a move that is? Is that, should I say, for the Cowboys?
Now you
Good
said it right,
move.
Chico. Be yourself. Go ahead, say it again, Chico. How
Same
big of a
difference.
move that is? Go ahead.
How
Go
big,
ahead,
how
Chico.
big a move that is, Shouty?
Oh, he
Yeah,
meant
there
how
you
big of a
go.
move is that? I got you.
That's what I corrected it to, Unc. Since we in grammar school up in this thing.
I'm
But
not
hey,
gonna say that.
but
He the one.
but
Your man
but
the one called you out on it.
but
No, that what I would have
it,
said.
it really don't matter because we got a whole bunch of C students that listen to us, so they understand what I'm saying. Shout out to all my folks out there. Let me get a
Yeah, man,
C
that was
student
me. I
shirt.
represented the people. I was the voice of the people. See, I
Hey,
gotta lead the street students. Y'all follow me. Come on, I'll be y'all spokesperson. No, look here, man. I think it's excellent for everybody involved. It's somebody to continue to push Dak. It's an insurance policy for injury because Dak has had a few, and then it also opens up when this contract ends. Dak Prescott could end up somewhere else. Like it's that bringing in that caliber of a player for that price. Normally you have a fork in the road, but this just gives you like multiple options of what could happen. Great business move for everybody.
yeah, I was
Okay.
glad to see him get out of New England because I thought the way he performed in that last game meant that he should at least had an opportunity because what did Drake made? Yeah, he made the Pro Bowl, but that was like the least Pro Bowl-y season that I've ever seen from a quarterback. You think about it, like that kind of remind me of when Snoop from the Ravens made it a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He probably shouldn't have made it. And I love this game, but that wasn't the guy I thought. The Pro Bowl doesn't mean the same thing that it used to. And I just didn't think Drake May did anything that would have made him like when you saw he didn't have one game as good as Joe Milton had in the last game of the season last year. Not one game.
15 touchdowns, 10 interceptions for Drake May, just in case you guys want to know.
Yeah, and you go look game by game at that game log. He didn't have one game as good, and not just from a stat perspective, but from how he controlled the game that Joe Milton had in that one game, and he didn't get the same amount of reps with the ones that he did. So, do I think Joe Milton is the answer in Dallas? No. Do I think he's an upgrade?
Uh-oh. We lost you there, Dukes.
You say you think he's an upgrade from, and then it went out.
Let me see. Dukes, can you hear me? No. He's muted. You muted yourself, Dukes, somehow. Milton is Miro on steroids. Yeah. Good afternoon, Keisha and Love, Reverend BJ Nelson, everybody else in the chat while we get Duke straight. Uncle Neely got an autograph. You see
I
that
mean, that
coming,
dude been trying all like everybody just feel comedy like ain't nobody laughed at the shit. Like say something funny, we'll acknowledge it.
Yeah, hey, every time y'all say something funny, I will laugh. I know that much. Y'all see every time Uncle Neely say something funny, I'll laugh. But if it's mid, I won't laugh.
Hey, did George ever check back in?
George, check back in. No, I don't see anyone checking in. But we do have practice film to go to that we need to check in on. You want to do that now, Big Man?
Sure.
Here we go then. We got sound with this also. So y'all check out the footage from practice.
That's not footage from practice. That's Coach
Uh-oh.
Grimes' pre-practice remarks.
Okay, thank you for a preference. Yeah, let us know what this is that we're watching.
I told you what it is earlier. Now you just want to make up what the hell it is.
Okay, well, what is it then, Unc? Let us know.
Press play.
Y'all see what we got to deal with. Look like the Nature Boy checking in. So we're going to press play and then get the Nature Boy up in this thing.
Fellas. From this day on in life, you're going to understand there's competition. There's competition with the clothes you wear. There's competition with the car you drive. There's competition with the woman you desire. There's competition where you live, your house, anything in life. There's going to be competition. You got to understand how you handle that and how you become victorious in competition. Because believe it or not, every day you do, someone's gonna be competing with you. This is part of life. And you're gonna be known as a winner or a loser in life. You got family members, you got friends, you got loved ones, you got the homies, you got the former teammates. They gonna be titled winner or loser. What side you gonna be on? You gotta make that decision. You say it.
The winner.
Yeah, but do your work add up with that?
Yeah.
Do your approach, I know you're right, man. Do your approach coincide with what you want to be? Because you say it, but everything that lies up in your life got to be about that same thought and that desire. Every play should be 100. It shouldn't be, I'm going to go hard on this play. I'm going to work hard on this play. That should be a way of life. There's winners, there's losers. How you want to be defined? I'm a winner. He's a winner. That's a winner. That's a winner. That's a winner. That's a winner. We all want winners. Ain't nobody want to coach no losers. And you don't want to be coached by a loser. We understand?
Sure.
Let's win today. Let's win today. Let's compete and let's win today. Break it down on
What you got for it, Mata?
Nothing, bro. Just familia on 3. 1, 2, 3. Familia.
Yes, sir. Shouts out to Mata. As we bring in our special teams coach, and we're going to get Uncle Neely's thoughts on that video also. But here we go. Let's bring in the nature boy. Y'all hit the theme music. Dun, dun.
What's up, fellas?
What's up, Coach? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Thanks for
It's
joining
Friday.
us,
Just
Coach.
finished up our last scrimmage of the week. Got 3 more practices to go for spring. You know, I'm excited about, today. It's a beautiful day in Boulder, baby.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Coach, if you will, give us some of your takeaways. You talk about three practices left. Give us some of your takeaways from spring ball up to this point, and then what you're looking for these last 3 practices, which includes the spring game.
Well, you know what? I tell you what, I'm from a special team standpoint, I'm excited about where we are from. We've been able to personnel all of our special teams to this point. We know what where our starting point is for all 6 special teams units and the backups for right now. You know what I mean? Of course, that'll change throughout the summer, but it at least gives us a launch point. And coming out of spring, you want to make sure that you at least get things your basics off the ground. So we feel good about where we're at with everything. We today we went out, did a great job with field goal. Mata and Buck did a great job. Of course, Damon and Daniel did great job holding. Cam, Gabe, great job snapping. So our operation was there, our protection was there. But at the same time, our field goal block unit showed some good things too in terms of the pressure they put on us and forcing us to be solid in our protection. From a team standpoint. Our defense had a really good day today, and they, which I tell you what, I've been a head coach for 10 years and been in this thing for 34 years. I've always felt like if your offense is ahead of your defense coming out of spring, you're probably looking for a long season. So because it takes longer to get offense together and especially when you got to replace a player like Shaduer Sanders, at quarterback. I mean, you don't just pop in and 10 practices into spring practice, replace that guy. That's not going to happen. I don't know if he'll ever be replaced. So we just got to learn to work without him, and we're trying to do that. And of course we lost some talent at the wideout position. I think we got 4 guys right now about to get drafted, right? So yeah, we got to replace those, but defensively, I tell you what, we run into the ball. We look aggressive, and we're hitting. And then offensively, we're hitting some plays. We just got to find more consistency. You know what I mean? And that's the name of the game, being consistent. And that's what I'm looking for, special teams wise. Let's just be a consistent unit. Let's don't try to get outside of ourselves. Let's don't try to make a big play. The big play will happen through consistency.
Coach, let me hit you with this. 2 things about consistency, touching on what you just spoke on. One, I was witnessing with you the other day at special teams practice that you had guys out there consistently hitting 61, 64, 65 yarders. And the
Right.
day you mention to him, you say, "Hey, fellas, as much as I appreciate that, let's work on what we're really going to be doing. Find your yardage
Right.
and make sure you're getting those reps in." That's one thing. And then another thing, you talk about the offensive defense and the gap there, or seemingly gap there. One thing I did notice today that the QB runs were very successful against
Yes.
the defense. So
Yes.
talk to us about the importance of working on what we're really going to be doing, and then what you see in the legs of these two QBs, not only just the arms.
Right. Well, I tell you what, kickers, they always want to talk about how far they can kick it. Punters are the same way. But you know what? I'm more focused on, hey, when we're inside 50 yards, we've got to be consistent. You know what I mean? We got to be 100%. We can't be missing 40, 30, 20-yard field goals. We got to be consistent there. And anything over 50 is gravy in my book. You know what I mean? Now, obviously, we want to make those too, but I want to make sure that we focusing on the situations that are going to win the games for us and being successful. Let me tell you something. You're not going to win a lot of games if you got to make a bunch of 60-yard field goals. I'm just going to tell you right now. You're not going to do it. Is it great to have? Is it great to make those? Yes. Is it great to if the game's on the line and you have to hit one? Of course. We feel like we got a guy that can do that. But I just want everyone to stay within themselves and just get better at what they do. Same way with our punters. It's great to go out there and punt 160 yards down the field. But I'm more concerned about how many times can you put it inside the 5-yard line. You know what I mean? How many times can you place the ball in between the numbers and the sideline where we want the ball, so we're not punting the ball down the middle of the field to a great player and having him have a two-way go on a 53-yard wide field for us. You know what I'm saying? So those are the things that we're trying to work on. And in terms of our the offense with the QB runs, I think particularly Salter gives us a great weapon there. He's had over a 1,000-yard rushing season before, and I think he definitely adds an element to the offense that it gives the defense something else to prepare for. As far as Juju goes, I think he's kind of like Shedeur in the fact that he's not going to rely on his legs to beat you, but his legs can beat you. You know what I mean? And that's just how I think that's just his mentality, how he's come up. He trusts his arm, he trusts his eyes downfield. But now when he has to tuck it and he sees grass, he can do some damage. So that's kind of how I view both of those guys.
Yeah. Coach, as a special teams coach, what's your philosophy on trick plays?
Well, I think you got to have some in your bag. You got to be ready. You never can tell when you're going to need them. Never can tell when an opportunity is going to present itself. So I think you got to have something in your bag, week in and week out, in your special teams units, that if you see the other team, not doing something sound, that you can take advantage of it. And plus another thing too, I think you help yourself down the line if every once in a while you'll just show a little gadget. That gives the other teams down the line something to prepare for, gives them something to think about. And if they're worrying about a gadget play, then that means they're spending less time practicing against what you actually gonna do. So
Okay.
that's kind of how I look at that too.
Nice. And when you're scouting other teams, their special teams unit, what are some of the things you're looking at to try to take advantage of?
Well, we're looking at their alignments. How do they line up? Are they giving you anything by their alignment? Is there something that we can take advantage of? Particularly when you're looking at our punt team versus their punt return team. Are they lining up in a way that's giving us a fake? Same way with field goal. If their defense on field goal block is lining up, leaving a gap open, giving us an opportunity to make a play, we can take advantage of something like that. And then also like their punt coverage and their kickoff coverage. Is there a player in there on their coverage that doesn't stay in his lane? Is there someone you could take advantage of with a trick play and maybe get him out of his lane and give your guy seam? So we look at every possible thing there. And we definitely want to have something. If Coach Primes says, Coach, hey, do we have a fake? We definitely want to have something that he can go to if he needs it.
Yeah.
Coach, King David Cartel says, "Woo! Good hair, skin care, polar bear, Coach P and 5."
There you go, baby. There you go. Hey, I'm gonna have to start marketing a shampoo, man. I got to
There
start
you
marketing
go.
my shampoo and hair gel.
Yep,
You know,
you
hey, get
do.
it on the TikTok shop.
I love it. I love it. You also had a question. I missed it, Chico. I'm trying to fall back to it. Someone asked, said that they missed the whistle, and it's a great show, and they're looking forward to the next episode. There it is.
Oh yeah, we got another
CB,
episode coming. We got another episode coming up.
Wilson with Coach Hart.
Yes,
Shout both
sir.
of you guys, man. Happy birthday, first of all. Happy birthday,
Appreciate
both
that.
of you guys. Y'all just had a
Appreciate
birthday,
that,
man.
man.
Turning
hey,
30 30 years old again.
let me tell
That's
you something,
right.
Chico, and to the audience out there that loves the whistle. One thing I love about the whistle and Coach Pollock and Coach Hart now, they've been buddy, but there's a little adversary in the air because Coach Pollock also coaches the running backs, and Coach Hart coaches the linebackers. And I see them looking at each other every now and then with a wink. I think it might
We
be.
have a little fun with it. We have some fun.
Got to, because they going one-on-one at practice
That's right. That's
constantly.
right.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Whether it's pass blocking or going out on routes.
Yep.
Yes, indeed. All right. Coach, I was going to ask one other special teams question about how much time each practice do you guys spend on special teams?
Well, I tell you what, I get my specialists, my snappers, kickers, and holders out 30 minutes before everybody else gets on the field. Because that way we got the entire field for 30 minutes to work on the things that I want to work on. And, we get them warmed up. And, we work on some things that you can't really work on while the other guys are on the field, using the field as much, especially when we're out there on Franklin or in the IPF. Now, if we're down on the three lower fields, we got a little bit more room to do some things. But we get out there and, we work, punting inside the 5 yard line every day starting off. We work our short snaps, we work our punt snaps and our punt protection. And then also one thing that I always end up, once they get good and warm and kind of go through their routine, I always get my kickers to work on their own side kicks. Just
Yeah.
just an opportunity to 5 or 10 minutes to work on something that you may not need once or twice a year, but when you need it, and it needs to be executed properly. And then during the actual practice time, I have things designed for them. They've got their routine that we talk about for them to do during practice, but we'll have two special teams periods, which will be about 7 or 8 minutes apiece for spring. And we have that time to work on the different teams, so to speak, and not just our specialists. So that's when we'll be working punt return, kickoff return, field goal block. And I think we do a great job as a staff of taking advantage of those 14 minutes.
Yeah.
Like when we're working punt, we'll be working field goal block on the other end. You know what I mean? We work kickoff return at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So we try to have more than just one thing going on during that time. And we spread our coaches out, and we trust them. We have to use our young coaches, our analysts, and some of those our student assistants, and they do a great job for us. And it enables us to maximize our time and get more in.
Coach,
Okay.
I want to say hats off to you in general, but even specifically today, because one of the things the audience may not be aware of is during these scrimmages, Coach Prime at any minute might yell field goal. And
Right.
your guys got to be ready, and the coaches got to be ready to go out there and kick it. And that happened a couple times today that were not traditionally, field goal situations. One
Yeah.
time we were facing the street, we were going the
Right.
opposite way, and he still called on it. So what is it about that helps you stay on your toes and you coach your guys and your assistant coaches as well as the players like, hey, be ready because Coach Prime may pull a rabbit out of the hat any minute?
Well, I think one thing is that's being around Coach Prime. You know what I mean? I've been around him for 5 or 6 years now, and I know him pretty well. I know how he thinks and how he operates, and I know that he likes to catch people off guard to see if you're on your toes. So we try to stay on our toes with it, and particularly when we're going against each other. When I've got to worry about, like for example, field goal, I got to make sure we got the field goal and the field goal block team out there, and on our field goal unit, we actually use two defensive players for our wings on there. So we have to make sure that if those two guys are on the field for defense, then we have their backup wing ready to go on field goal. So we have to be alert for that. And Coach Zim does a great job of helping me keep that organized, and he'll go over there and make sure that we have the correct substitutions. He'll alert the defensive side players as well. Hey, this is what might be coming up, and it's just a great job, great job of communicating on our part. And then, like I say, just knowing our boss and knowing how he likes to catch you, and you got to stay alert.
Yeah.
Got to stay alert. Hey, shout out to everybody who's watching us live right now on the morning run. If you're just joining us, we got Coach Michael Pollock, greatest hair in all of college football, talking special teams. Big dog Chico. Deuce the Scoop was on earlier. He might jump back on with us. Chico, what you got?
Couple of things. First off, somebody in the chat mentioned what we mentioned last night, and that is, I'm sorry, Coach Hilo might give you a run for your money.
Oh, okay. Hey,
No,
listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. Listen, let me lay this to rest, okay? That's like comparing Buddy Landell to Ric Flair. Okay, I mean, listen. Hey, our boy at Oklahoma State got defeated last year, and if I whip him, then I know everybody else is that's just like, Saturday night TBS Georgia Championship Wrestling. That's just jobbers. You know what I mean? That's just getting the jobbers out the way. 10-minute time limit. Come on, what are we talking about here? I mean,
10-minute time limit. Falls count anywhere in the Omni.
I know, right? The Omni in Atlanta, baby.
Oh man. All right, last question, serious question. Back to special teams. A couple of years ago, this time during the spring, we saw special teams have problems. Saw a couple of field goals, even PAT get blocked. And that's usually when we only see Mata miss field goals inside the 40 if they're going to get blocked.
Right.
And I played that wing position on field goal protection or max protecting the field goal attempts and PATs and all this stuff. What is your philosophy for blocking for a field goal?
Well, I think first of all we gotta have the proper alignment. We can't have our stance too narrow. If we're up close inside the 15-yard line, we're going to taxi over and bring a lineman over to the field side, so there's a longer edge there. And like I say, we've got it, like with those wings in particular, they got to make sure their alignment. They're not too close to the tight end. They got to back off a little bit, but they got to be able to get up, step with their inside foot, and get their knee locked in behind his knee, and then be able to step out as well, because they really got to protect two gaps. They got to protect that inside gap, and then they got to protect that speed guy coming off that edge. We actually got one tipped earlier this week because we had not aligned properly. We had lined up too tight, and we weren't able to reach out there. DJ McKinney did a heck of a job, and he tipped it, but Mata still made it. So it was a good learning tool for us, and it was something that we definitely focused on this morning during our special teams meeting.
Yeah,
Coach. I want to
outside guy.
highlight that if I can. Again, another hats off to you. To pull up that film, and shout out to Campo and the film crew, to be able to pull up that film and show that player where his step was just a little too far in and should be on the inside, the outside, if you will,
right,
of the guy next to him, and how that 6 inches would have made the difference.
Yeah,
keeping DJ from making that play. I thought that was a very, succinct moment to be able to show a guy on film like, hey, just think if you were where we say be, that doesn't happen.
Right. That's right. And he fixed that, and really and truly, that was the situation that we had taxied over late, because we didn't call taxi to begin with. We were on like the 10-yard line, and like I say, when we taxi over, that's when we bring a fourth lineman over. So we'll have a 4x2 look, and it's really a 5x3 because when you count the wing, and when they moved, the wing didn't move with them. You know what I'm saying? He kind of stayed tucked in where he was at. And so that we learned a lesson from that. And then we great job. Our cameramen were on top of that. And we were able to pick that up, that little small detail up, and correct that issue right away.
Yeah. Coach, we're gonna let you go, but I got to give you one last comment before you get out of here. Again, from King David Cartel, he says to you, Hilo, B-Lo, no go, still, Coach P and 5.
That's my guy.
Elo, Belo, no go. Appreciate you, Coach Pollock, for
Thanks,
joining us
guys.
once
Appreciate
again,
it.
man.
Yes,
We
sir.
Y'all
Have
have
a
a
great
great
day
appreciate
this
your
weekend.
time.
weekend, man. Enjoy your great weekend.
See you guys.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
indeed.
That was Coach Michael Pollock as we reached the 50-minute mark in the morning run. Big dog, Chico. Yours truly, Uncle Neely. Ain't no damn telling what's going to happen these last 10 minutes now because
Oh, Lord.
Chico just, once the guests are done, he loses his damn mind for some reason.
We're
You
gonna
know,
see.
I'm saying,
We're gonna see who lose their mind. Chat, y'all let us know.
okay, it reminds me of something my mama told me, Chico.
Watch this. Prime example.
My mama told me, she said, I think I know what it is, baby. I said, what's that, bro? She said, you have raised. I said, ma'am. She said, you a perfect child in front of company. Like you know how to act around people. But as soon as they leave, she said, I wish it was the reverse. I wish you'd act bad in front of them and give me some peace.
Yeah, because it's less time in front of them. Hell, give me some peace. They'll be the worst kids right there. Bad as hell. You know what? That badass gonna stick with you. That nickname right there, the badass. Uncle Neely.
Well,
You
it's been
got
a long
plenty of
time.
switches.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, I
I
bet.
think the big word for it is called incorrigible. Just ain't
All
gonna do
right.
right.
I'm not gonna ask you to spell it because it don't even matter. Unk.
I sure
Going to set
appreciate
some
that. You
shots
let
off
me
at Chico. What kind of stuff is that, dog?
you let me
Hey,
on good.
y'all tune in for the shots. Y'all done seen about 16 of them earlier. Now I'm gonna jot my random in a minute.
What you mean in a minute?
In a minute.
In a minute. Like you started off doing it.
Come on, dog. Those little jabs just to get you going. Wake up, Unk. Wake up, Unk.
Yeah, see
Then
that?
bam.
See what that is, y'all? That's him admitting that he did it. But now he's saying I did it to help you.
Yeah, just wake up. You be trying to drop some nuclear damn bombs, and it's all good though. But the merch will be dropping. We appreciate y'all asking about the merch. Merch coming real soon. Y'all just stay tuned, and we will have a link at the bottom of this and in the description real soon. Check back with us. That's why Coach Pollock is always invited to the family picnic. Absolutely. Let me see. Did I have another topic over here? Let me see. Because ain't no telling what we're gonna talk about. If I have something structured, maybe we won't get off too far off.
That never helps.
Maybe we could tell everybody. Make sure y'all tune in Sunday night and Thursday night to Unc and Chico live. If you don't know, you know now. All right. Each and every
I
Sunday.
see. I see you been working, Chico. Look graphic you done put together.
Yeah, I mean, little something light.
Throw it back up there again. Let me see it.
Man, little something light. That's all.
Yeah, I see you, Chico. That's all right, Chico.
Shabuskia.
That's all right.
That's all right. We
You
getting
made
better,
that
man.
when you was on the toilet.
See what I'm saying? But look, guys. Who losing their minds? Who's losing their minds? Is it Chico? It's usually never Chico. I'm just on here trying to get through the show.
I do some of my best work on the toilet. I wasn't making no fun.
Another example, guys. Come on now. Come on now.
Come on, dog.
Man, let's see if we can bring cousin Dukes back up in this thing before we get off the rails. Dukes.
Yo.
Dukes in Miami.
Yeah, man.
Miami.
I came back in early, but y'all had Coach Pollock on, so I was like, I might as well let y'all keep the party rolling.
Okay, yeah. We appreciate it. It's all good. I saw you there. I went back to check. I didn't see you back there, so I figured you came in and out. Looked like a comedy album cover. Okay. Oh, somebody okay now.
Put it up again. Let me see.
Like a comedy album cover. And coming to a city near you, it's the Unc and Chico show.
Your hair look combed on this picture though. Or is that edited? AI?
It never fails, dog. It never fails. What else? Unc? What else you see about? What else you see with this picture?
I look like a rat. That's the best you can do. I know you're gonna just find the worst ass pictures your boy you can. Yeah, Chico, you'll love me, dog. Yeah.
That is the worst picture. Oh my gosh.
No, good job, Chico. I still think you made it on the toilet though.
Dukes, where do we go from this, man? Where do we go? I'm just trying to end the show if that's all. We have. Unc said last night I can't even get a hot straightening comb through my hair.
That ain't what I said.
Oh, well, what did you say then, Unc? Word for
I
word.
said Big Mama stove don't get hot enough to get a comb that could go through your hair. She had to turn on all four eyes, the barbecue grill. You don't know about no hot comb. You don't either, because it wasn't one that existed to get through that.
Hey, did y'all talk about the quarterback at Tennessee not going to practice today?
Appreciate you, cousin Dukes. Nico, once again, we kind of skimmed over this last night. Quarterback for Tennessee, $8 million, still in negotiations with that contract he has up there. And he didn't go to practice today, Dukes?
Yeah, they say he didn't go to practice today. So what he had like a 4-year, $8 million deal. It was supposed to be like $2 million a year. And this was back
Something
at the
like that,
start
yep.
when people thought $2 million was like a ton of money. And now you got quarterbacks getting $4 million. He was like, hey bro, y'all gotta come see me. And
Had to come see me.
yeah, because he's done enough to where he can go get $4 or $5 million out the portal.
Yes, easy money. So it's time to renegotiate, restructure this deal, dog. We're gonna tear this up and throw it out the window because it's a whole new year. Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Do y'all think the NIL is getting off the rails?
Absolutely.
Hell,
Absolutely. And if I may drive down that road real quick, when I pass your house, wave at me. Here's one thing I know about America: like it, love it, leave it, whatever. There are unwritten rules within capitalism, and one of those is you got to get what you pay for. And when you don't get what you pay for, there are things in place to help right the wrongs. The way NIL stuff happens right now, because of the NCAA and its stance that you can't pay for play, meaning pay can't be based on production, this system is going to crash as is if there are not tweaks to it. Because to pay somebody a couple $1 million and they don't literally have to live up to their end of it. How long before boosters, alums, businesses keep putting into a system when they are not for certain if they're going to get what they're paying for? It's literally un-American. It doesn't make sense. And so there's going to have to be down the road, you're going to have to get into contracts that bind both parties to something. That, hey, I'm giving you this for this, and you got these exit clauses. We have these exit clauses, and there has to be notification for these exit clauses. Otherwise, the system is going to implode as is. Because you're setting up for, man, you know what? American gangster. When Frank Lucas went by to see the Don, and the Don told him, at some point, the price of a gallon of milk has to match what it costs to produce a gallon of milk. You can't just go out here and charge what you want to charge, Frank, for a gallon of milk. Think about your other dairy farmers.
mm-hmm.
And Frank said, I'm thinking about them about as much as they think about me.
Mm.
And that's what's happening right now. There's no regulations, no controls. It's highest bidder wins, and then the highest bidder don't know if he's getting what he's paying for.
Uncle, I have a question.
Yeah.
About this situation. What did Kool Moe Dee say back in the day?
One said, go see the doctor, which that happened to you back in December.
Y'all see what I'm saying?
Then he said Wild Wild West. Which one?
Y'all see what I'm saying?
Which
Y'all
one
see
you
what
want?
y'all see what I'm saying, right, chat? The Wild Wild West. This is the Wild Wild West. I was just trying to go there. It's all good.
No, it is Wild Wild West. And you saw what happened to that system. At some point, law and order had to come in. And the system was working for those who was working for the Wild Wild West, If you was the Red Sash gang and all that, you ain't want the lawman around. But at some point, law and order had to kick in, Chico. And we don't have law and order right now.
Yeah, I think revenue sharing gonna fix some of it.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, a lot of colleges are restructuring the payment structures based on revenue sharing that should start in July. But some schools are saying we're gonna pay you what we owe you for the rest of the year, and you won't get any more money until December until we know what our revenue sharing really is. Other schools are projecting revenue sharing and saying, okay, we're going to pay you as we get it. So it's really like nobody really knows how this thing is really going to shake out. And I think Nico is like, look, that's an outdated deal. Nobody's going to tell me I can't get it. This is the last time I'm probably going to be able to do something like this before revenue sharing kicks in. Why not go ahead and try my hand? I
Absolutely.
mean,
Oh, he's
when you
not
talk
wrong.
about when you talk about capitalism, he absolutely is doing the same thing that the NCAA was doing to kids for years before now. So
Absolutely.
this is a 1,000% case of the rabbit having the gun.
Absolutely. And ain't nothing wrong with that. And then
Yeah.
then it has to be. That's the Don told Frank Lucas. We got to come together, come up with this price. Because what you're doing is going to hurt everybody. But is what he's doing wrong right now? Absolutely not. Because it's within the rules. Because there are no rules.
Yeah,
And
that's what I was gonna say.
he's entitled to go to the highest bidder. He's entitled to, okay, when I signed this deal, y'all were thinking and I was thinking I was going to do this much. I ended up doing this much. And there are other people who want my services. So I'm gonna sit down and do nothing until somebody comes up with a number I think is more in line with what I performed at.
What would you do if you was him? You were him? Would you, of course, you're going to seek out other schools that's willing to pay you the money that you're looking for. Would you keep it at that straight business and go to the highest bidder, or what would be your outlook if you were Nico?
You don't think Ohio State will pay to have another quarterback come in when after they lose with Will Howard? What you think Ohio State would be willing to pay to have a guy like that? Like,
Mm,
I mean, you saw what they did with Will Howard. Will Howard wasn't just a world beater coming out of Kansas State, but they had
right,
a guy who could really at least steady the boat with all that talent that they have offensively. What about other teams? There's an unsurety about Gunnar Stockton at Georgia. Like somebody who can come in who's done it in the SEC and has taken the SEC team to the playoffs. Man, this dude, man, he probably is gonna be he could probably sign the most lucrative NIL deal ever signed when it comes to football because nobody has hit it at this point. It's almost just like how every year in the NFL, somebody becomes the highest paid player at that position based on timing. Well, there
right.
isn't another quarterback poised to make this type of money in the last bit of the collective. This is the last time a collective can negotiate with you before revenue sharing. Nobody's going to be more well positioned than Nico Iamaleava to basically break the bank.
Yeah, I like that, man. And we got a new series, Chico and Dukes in chat, that's starting on the pregame network with Reginald Calhoun Jr., The Business of Athletes. We dropped the first episode the other day, and he just walks people through, the X's and O's, the ins and outs, the Jimmys and Joes of NIL. Excellent series going to be coming on the business side of this, as these things are involved. Dukes, you talked about, one of the school models is waiting to the end of the year before they break bread. They waiting to see how you perform before they break bread. It ain't the end of school year, it's the end of the season.
Yeah, I'd be like, dog, I ain't with it either. I'll do the same thing. Yeah, I'll reach out to some of those schools, Ohio State and Alabama's, and teams that are poised to win. How much did Carson Beck get from Miami down there for this season that he's going out?
They
At
say he got
least
$4 million.
4 million. So if he got that much, and I was scheduled to make, no, dog, we got to renegotiate. Y'all saw the season I had last year at Tennessee. When last time y'all had a season like this at Tennessee with a quarter? No, dog, we got to renegotiate.
Yeah,
That's
man.
what I would do.
Where we're headed is we might as well stop playing and drop student off student athlete because that
Yep.
already happened when you put these conferences. They got one team in New Jersey and another California. Anybody going to class, so we can
Lord.
stop that student athlete stuff, and we can also stop this amateur athlete stuff. Once you start getting compensated for something, that's what makes you a professional. And when you're a professional, for the most part, people have signed agreements of expectations. I know Chico. You go out there in Hawaii and offer your plumbing services. You ain't licensed in bonding. You be doing some other plumbing. I get that. But for the most part, people want an agreement with their plumber, what he's going to do, and what's the date, what's the cost, what's the budget, et cetera, et cetera. We're heading down the road, man, where college athletes are going to have contracts. They're probably going to have a union at some point because both sides are going to have rights and going to need their rights protected.
This is true. And by the way, plumbers make good money. Shout out to all my plumbers out there.
Yeah, you sent me a pic from your latest appointment.
Hey man, That was to you, not for the chat.
And so, hey, Dukes, I told him, I said, man, you better tip her good for rubbing them feet. You better tip her good.
Come on, dog. John Gray said. We appreciate you, John Gray.
I
Carson
want John
Nation.
Gray. He had every opportunity to say I'm lying. But what did he say? Oh, that picture was just for you.
He ain't lying.
That's what I said.
I ain't get it.
Nah. So what we doing?
Chat. Chico, Dukes, Chico be trying to help you, dog. That's why he sent it to you. He be trying to encourage you. He know I'm wayward, so he sent it to me because they no hope for me.
None. Absolutely not. He is off the rails, off the chains, and everything else. If we don't have anything else, it's gonna be, good after the hour time to go get some
Salty Vet.
breakfast.
Let me shout out Salty Vet comment. He said if these players have a big contract, these players shouldn't be allowed to jump forward. You better believe that's gonna be part of it. Let me tell you what happens in the NFL, as Dukes knows. Even when you get your guaranteed money is based on the games and game checks. So let's say you get $100 a game and it's 16 games. I'm advancing you $1,600. When you do something on your own, not injury, and miss one of them games, you gotta get that money back because you didn't live up to your part of it. And so you're not gonna be able to get $2 million from somebody to be like, I don't like it here no more. I'm getting in the portal. You got to get your money back. That's coming. Look at Chico. I love it.
What'd you say when I look away?
Yeah.
Hey, real quick before we go, we're gonna end it on this right here. Dukes last night. Unc said I thought I hit a home run with this one right here. You let me know if I did. We was talking about guys who could be leaders and dogs on the team and things of that nature. And I said, oh, you know what? Speaking of the defensive line, tell me these two big boys don't remind me. Oh, I got it. Barnes and Otis, they look like the Harlem Heat. Tell me they don't look like the Harlem Heat. Then I hit Harlem Heat, Big Barnes and Otis in the middle of the defense. What?
Harlem Heat, yeah, Chico.
With the slapjack.
We got Harlem Heat in the middle, man. We had the Road Warriors last year at the linebacker position with NHG and Levante Bentley. Now we got the Harlem Heat on that defensive line in the middle. Oh, now
we had
I like that.
We had a super chat directed at Dukes fall through Uncle Kai. Dukes, you tell me what you thought about Chef Solomon meal, especially the crab cakes. $10 super chat. Appreciate you, Uncle.
Man, A1, you know what's funny? Because my aunt Tiny called me yesterday. She told me, she was like, man, that food was good. One, I said, dang, you saw my plate? She said, yeah, Uncle Neely had you on there. He made you go back and get that crab cake. I said, dang. I said, yeah, I forgot about that. I didn't even know you was recording.
I ain't want you to cheat yourself.
Man, listen, it was A1. You hear me? Man, that food was so good, bro. I hadn't even been eating red meat. I had to get a bit of that ribeye. You hear me? Like listen to me. Bro, every day I was out there, man, it was like a 5-star restaurant for lunch and dinner, bro. Like lunch and dinner. Like it's not just lunch. It's
why was
dinner
your
too.
Why was your plate so light though, dude? Why you ain't go in for real? You don't eat that much or what?
I had work to do.
Okay. Yeah, that would have put you in that itis mode probably.
And I wanted to taste a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So you gotta get a little. You can't get full on one. You gotta because then I went back to the other. You know they got a pasta bar on the other side.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
Chico, let me tell you a true sign of love. In this Bible, not Neely, this Bible, you got to want for your brother what you want for yourself. And when I looked at my brother's plate and seen that large crab cake wasn't on there, I said, oh, Lord, no. You got to go back. Get him back. You get him back.
Yeah, I was wondering. I saw some space on that plate. I was like, what? The whole plate got to be covered. When you in the presence of Chef Solomon.
Nah, bro. But see with me, you go in and you don't want to be seen or heard. You just want to be somebody just in the background. That's it. So every time I go to Colorado, I don't want to wear out my welcome. I don't want nobody saying, man, I'm not a made man out there yet. So
Yeah,
I go out there, get my food. I'm very grateful. Go have dinner with some greats. Don't say a whole lot. Let Neely lead the way. And Neely usually tell me, he was like, all right, dude, this where you say something. That's it. And so, hey,
That's
you know,
that's that's the plate of a fit man right there. That's not a plate of a. That's a plate of a FIT man, not a plate of a FAT man. Because I'm calling that thing. Y'all say eat. Okay, we gonna eat. We gonna eat
Then
up
I'm
in this
getting to
thing.
go play too.
I see. Now you're going too far now, Biggs. You gonna get a to go plate too.
Finna go get one now. It's lunchtime now. I'm finna go. I'm gonna sit down and I'm taking one. I mean, look, it's just like another Denzel character, Officer Alonzo Harris. My lunch plate is the gun, and the go plate is that money. I'm gonna get that gun, and I'm gonna get that money. And ain't nothing you can do about it, Jake.
Shout out to Coach Chef. Coach Chef. I always call him Coach, but shout out to
That's
Chef
fine. He coach too.
Carl Solomon. Uncle Neely, did you finish those nachos? Or did you
Hell
have to
no.
take it to go? You took something to go? I know you.
Yeah, I took, man, look. So I ate about a third of them, and the remaining 2/3, I had to use 2 to go kinds to make them fit. And then when I got home, I ate one of them, and the other one, I couldn't do it, man.
Unbelievable. Go ahead, wrap that thing up in some, what you call it, an ice wrap or something, and send that thing to Hawaii, baby. Let's see what it make it. I bet you it'll make it. I bet you it'll make it.
You be doing everything you can to get the N word out of me on this show. You do it everything you can.
You got to try it. I'm going to get somebody to try again this year to send me some plums from Selma, Alabama, because they bloom. I don't know if they do in Mississippi or Georgia. I haven't seen them anywhere else. But the little tiny green plums that eventually turn red, that grow on these sticker bushes, they bloom at like 1st of May up until June. I think is when the NBA finals start, June 5th or so. You can get these green plums. And I get my cousin to send me some each and every year. Sometimes they come, they're all mushed up and I only get like half of them that survive, but it's worth it. It's worth it.
Them
So
green ones keep you regular too. Put a little salt on them, they keep you regular.
I don't put nothing on them things but water. Wash them off and eat them. What? We in the business.
You know you ain't washed no plums.
So I need some green plums. Anybody out there in this world that can send your boy some green plums, I love you forever. All right. So until next time, Duke's out on the beach in Miami. Uncle Neely on the, you're not on the stool, are you?
I'm sitting on the stool overlooking the stadium. I was trying to move. Y'all can see it.
Can we see that view? Don't show us your underwear. Can you see the view?
Uh-oh.
Am I doing too much, y'all? Asking for a view? Look at that shot right there. It doesn't get no better than that in Boulder, Colorado. What? Y'all know what to do, man. Hit the like, subscribe, comment, all the other good stuff. Chico, my granny had that plum tree in her yard growing up. Yes, indeed, man. You had a great childhood, man. All right, Dukes, we appreciate you joining in once again, man, on your vacation. Y'all make sure y'all go check out The Scoop with Dukes on his YouTube channel. Dukes, The Scoop on YouTube. This is the biggest dog, Chico to the sea, and the place to be, coming to you live and direct from the middle of the ocean, Pacific, that is. Right here on the rock. That's Hawaii. Broadcasting live across the world, wherever you're checking in from. We appreciate you listening in. For Uncle Neely, for myself, we're going to get ready to sign up out of this thing on the morning run. Uncle, you want to leave us with anything? I bet you ain't got no positive word.
The Rock is Jamaica. It's called Jam Rock. Hawaii ain't the Rock. Stop stealing people's style. Shout out to Jamaica. Shout out to Jamaica, the real Rock.
Man.
Welcome to Jam Rock.
Ugh.
Hey, they put me out of church choir. I know I can't sing. I ain't trying to impress. I'm just trying to be the best. Let everybody else get some rest. Lakers in 5.
I'm out of here at 5. Peace in the Middle East. We appreciate y'all joining us. Y'all know we do hit the like, rock on all those stuff. We go about 10. Peace in the Middle East. Yeah.